Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to lesson number 3 in our big ideas for unit 7, constructions and scale drawings, where today we're going to classify triangle. We're going to find also the missing angle measure of a triangle. So we're going to classify a triangle. We're going to learn the 2 ways that we have to classify a triangle. And then we're going to learn how to find the missing angle measure of a triangle. How can you find the missing angle measure of a triangle? That is our essential question of the day. And some of you probably have an idea, but I'm going to teach you also something different. So you might want to pay attention when you get to video number 2, as that's going to be answered in video 2. Right now, right here, we are on classifying triangles. You had to take notes from page 284, and you had this picture of all these triangles. You have colored markers. You might want to match the markings that they put in here, because some of this stuff is real important. I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'm not going to go through all the labels, but I am going to tell you that when you see these angle measures, that says that, hey, these 3 angles here, they're all the same. Okay? Now, if only 2 of the angles were the same, then they would go like that. They would have 2 angle marks. All right? And then that one would be different. So that, I hope that makes sense. And the same with the side markings. There's little marks on the side. That tells you that those 2 sides are the same. And that these 3 sides over here are the same. 1, 2, and 3 are the same. Notice, you will notice, we'll talk about it as we go. We can't talk about everything. We can't do every example, so we're just going to practice the ones we do have. So let's get busy. We have to remember that we classify a triangle first by the angle, then by the side. So when I talked about the 2 ways to classify a triangle, here we learned about all the angles that you can call it, and here we learned about all the sides. So you have to call it by its angle first and then its side. Okay? So you could say acute equilateral. I mean, you could say acute scalene. You could say obtuse right, whatever you want to say. Okay? So you got to use the angle first and then the side. Moving right along, let's do a couple. It's going to be real quick. Classifying the triangles. So we take a look at this. We have 2 angles that are the same. And we have this 90-degree box. So we already know that by angle first, we're going to call it a right, because if it has one right angle, it is a right triangle. And then we have 2 sides that are the same. So it's isosceles. So this is a right isosceles triangle. And what I was going to try to point out, if 2 sides are the same, then 2 angles are the same. Notice that. It has 2 sides that are the same, so that means the opposite angles are going to be the same from those sides. Seems to work out that way. Right here we have 3 different angle measures. What do we call it when all of them are different? Oh, nothing for the angle, but every single angle is less than 90, so we would call this an acute triangle. But then we don't have any side marks, so all the sides are different. So that would be scalene. So this is an acute scalene triangle. Moving right along, looking at the angles first. None of the angles are the same. That's cool. But we do have one that's greater than 90 right here. So that would be obtuse. And then none of the sides are the same because none of the angles are the same. So again, we would call that scalene. All right? Moving right along. Here we have all 3 angles are the same. Now, you can do one of 2 things. I will accept acute, because if they're all the same, they have to be acute. The book wanted to call it equal angular, because all 3 are the same angle measure. Either one of those works. And then if all the sides are the same, it is equal lateral. So you could call it acute equilateral, or you could call it equal angular equilateral. You will see it both ways. And lastly, we're taking a look at this one that has, again, a right angle symbol in it. So we're going to call it a right triangle. And none of the sides are the same, so it would be scalene. So, of course, we didn't go through every single combination of classifying angle and side. We just don't have the time to do all of them. But you always go the angle first, whether they are, remember, it's either less than 90, acute, equal to 90, it's a right triangle, or it's greater than 90, it's an obtuse triangle. It's either acute, right, or obtuse, or they're all the same, and we call that equal angular sometimes. And then we have the 3 side ways, which are none of them are the same scalene. 2 of them are the same isosceles. All 3 are the same equilateral. So there you go. Moving right along to our quick write. Classifying the triangle. Again, make a quick drawing. You know, do it real nice. Put in the measurements that they have, and then classify the triangle for A and B. Please do a nice little drawing. It won't take you that long. Take a quick break, come back, hit us up for video number 2, and then do some assignment work.